Hey everyone, how you doing? How is everyone? Oh, let me fix this shit. Mm. Oh, like that. All right, there. It's all better. Okay. Hi. Hey Eliar. Hey Sue Elliott. Hi. Hey Animal Lover. Hey Megan. Hi Lily. Hi Elizabeth. What's up, everyone? How you been? Oh boy, it's been a crazy couple of days, hasn't it? So really, there's a couple of things I wanted to discuss this tonight. One I wanted to go over with and devote a little bit of time to the critical K rule or default judgment. Someone was very kind enough to send it to me an email, and I want to thank you very much. I don't want to say any names in case this person doesn't want to be outed, but thank you. If you hear this, thank you. I haven't had the time. I didn't even know where to look for it. I couldn't even remember where it was or whatever. So thank you very much. I want to talk about that just for a minute. Go over some of it. It's not very long, anyways. But that and what the fuck is Katie up to? Like she's losing her shit, man. Oh my god. Like, and she says that she's a reporter. She's a professional. This is her job, right? Her page is her business page, or her accounts are her business accounts, right? But they're not in business about what she's doing with them. Like she's fucking, she's stalking, she's harassing, and I don't care what people think of her. I could care less about the what the hell's it? I don't even remember their last names. The K+8 people or whatever. I don't give a shit about the mother, the father. I'm no offense to the kids, but I haven't shown any interest in you guys before. I'm not about to start now. I just don't care. But so please take that into consideration when you hear me kind of. I'm not sticking up for the mother, but I'm definitely not jumping on board Katie and condemning anyone. That's for damn sure. But Katie won't leave her alone. Katie is just posting like anywhere. Katie just thinks that I don't what can I call her? See, I don't want to do Kate and Katie. Well, I guess I could do Kate and KJ. We'll do that. So KJ is pretty much going any place where she thinks that Kate might be on social media or might have made her presence known, like through a post or a comment or whatever. And then KJ's been stalking the shit out of that place and won't let up on this woman. I don't understand it. Like at this point, KJ has to realize that her efforts here and speaking up for this son or whatever is causing him more fucking anguish than anything. Well, maybe not more than his mother, but KJ is not letting this die down. KJ is just re-victimizing this person, just reminding the world of everything that this person's own mother did to them. I don't see how that's helping this person as a victim. I don't see how it's helping anyone but Katie. And I think that's the whole point of it, though, really, you know. But I'll get into that more shortly. Hey, Kira. I don't know why wouldn't folks be able to act like humans tonight? They should be able to, right? I mean, I'm not gonna act out. I make no promises, but no. So, anyways, I'm gonna jump to the critical K shit here real quick and just go over it because let me get to. I don't want to show the person who sent it to me. All right, and I'm not fucking redacting critical K's real name. I'm not playing that game. Fuck it. I mean, whatever. It's a public record now, anyways. Whatever. It's not like no one knew her name before it was public record, but still. And I gotta say though, I am of the belief that if you're gonna say and do this shit that she has done, then I'm sorry. I think something as simple as your name that can establish your fucked up pattern is kind of up for grabs in a sense. We're not in a sense in the literal sense maybe, but it's my opinion. All right, so this is a copy of the default judgment order. Says this matter is before the court to determine an appropriate amount of damages on plaintiff Ray's tort claims against Karen Yax. The factual allegations are set forth in the well-placed complaint and need not be recited at length. They are taken as true for present purposes. The short version is this. On her internet webcast, Karen, or Critical K, accused Ray, a healthcare provider, of committing bribery and contributing to the untimely deaths of Ray's son and one of Ray's patients. These statements, false, defamatory, unprivileged, actionable, and highly offensive, meet the standards set forth in, except I'm not reading precedence law or case law or whatever. Each statement also, quote, was made with actual malice, that is, with knowledge that it was false or with reckless disregard of whether it was false or not, while entertaining subjective doubt as the truth of the statement. The court held an evidentiary hearing on damages. Ray showed up and testified under oath about the harm that Critical Case false statements caused her. Ray confirmed for jurisdictional purposes the relationship those statements had with the state of Mississippi. Ray then provided as a point of reference a decision by a judge and whatever to a victim of defamation. Critical K did not appear at the hearing despite the court's express invitation. Because this case is proceeding in diversity, the applicable substantive law is that of the forum state. Oh, no, okay, I don't care. In Mississippi, compensatory damages are such damages as will compensate the injured party for the injury sustained and nothing more, such as will simply make good or replace the loss caused by the wrong or injury. Damages for emotional distress alleged in connection with intentional tortious conduct may be recovered, even when the plaintiff has experienced no physical injury. Okay, I think we know how it works for the most part. So, here we go. Because Critical Case statements, it imputed the guilt or commission of some criminal offense involving moral turpitude and infamous punishment, and imputed a want of integrity or capacity, whether mental or, I don't know how to pronounce that word, pecuniary? Okay. In the conduct of a profession, trade, or business, they were actionable per se and need no special harm. It pointed to, I thought that it was giving something else. Okay. I want to get to where, for a parent to be accused of contributing to their child's death is its own kind of pain. Having that broadcast to thousands of people amplifies that pain. Knowing that tens of thousands of people had watched Critical Case false statements, Ray said, makes you very paranoid, makes you feel very uncomfortable in public. You don't know who's listening and who's believing what she's saying. You know, or who knows that what she's saying is crazy. And so you do become very isolated and you don't go out to eat. You don't go do things that you normally did because you don't really know where everybody stands that's around you. Yeah, I buy that. The court heard testimony about how Critical K profited from her false statements. Perhaps the worst part, Ray said, is that Critical K offered to share Ray's son's autopsy photos with strangers on the internet, which caused probably the most upset just knowing that people had, his pictures where he's naked and he's cut open and all that. Ray explained at length the effects Critical Case statements had on her life and her community. Okay. So, in this case, the court believes that the evidence supports an award of compensatory damages between those identified in Buford and Stewart. It assesses damages at $325,000. The next is punitive damages. The court has been mindful of case law indicating that Mississippi fact finders err when they are influenced by egregious, outrageous, and obviously intentional nature of the defendant's conduct to award compensatory damages that were penal in nature. Punitive damages, rather, are the means by which the defendant may be punished for the egregious or outrageous nature of his conduct and deterred from conducting himself in a similar manner in the future. Okay. So for punitive damages, the court sets the amount at $165,000. The last issue is attorney's fees. Counsel seeks $11,000 in reasonable attorney's fees. So, in other words, the judge ruled that a default judgment is awarded in the amount of $325,000. Then punitive damages are awarded in the amount of $165,000, and then attorney's fees are awarded in the sum of $11,000. So it's $490. That's $501,000. That's just a smidgen over $500,000. Wow. Now, perhaps another YouTuber might kind of keep this in the back of her mind somewhere, like, this is what can happen. Now, for granted, Critical K didn't show up to any of her court appointments regarding this case, but and Katie, as we know, does show up for her appointments so far. There's that. However, chances are though there would have been some sort of judgment against Critical K, even if she had shown up and participated. So for that reason alone, I think KJ may want to just keep that in mind next time she's talking some crazy shit about some people. All right, so I want to get to one other thing, which is I'm going to show you guys like exactly what Katie's doing. So over on her Instagram, or rather on Instagram, I should say, we're not going to Katie's Instagram. We're going to go to Kate plus 8's Instagram. There we go. So this is Kate plus my 8. This is actually her. It's confirmed. We're going to just pull up the most recent posting or whatever. And so here it looks like Kate plus my 8 just posted this text image here. And here we have Katie Joy commenting on her post. Katie writes, "It took courage for Colin to sit down and speak about his past. And the last thing I would have expected was more abuse to come his way from a sibling that hasn't seen or spoken to him since he was in 6th grade, John told ET. No child should have to endure the years of psychological and physical pain Kate put Colin through, let alone the rejection from his own mother or the false storyline created to alienate Colin from his siblings. Colin has grown into a wonderful man despite her abuse," John concluded. "We love him and are both proud and excited to see him grow into a young U.S. Marine." True love for a child wouldn't include a mother attacking their son to the public, he said. Colin had to be cleared by the Marines with a full background check, including mental, physical, and medical clearance through the U.S. Marine Corps. The government's full diagnosis clearly reflects the truth. Quote, "Do not forget that a judge awarded sole legal and physical custody of Colin to his father. Kate never even showed up to court and lost full custody of her own son," John continued. "Regarding these brand new false accusations, it seems clear that even today, after not seeing her son since the 6th grade, she is unable to control her abusive words toward him." John concluded, "At this point, Colin is training to be a U.S. Marine in order to serve his country and is unable to respond to his mother's callous lies." So we're not going to go through every comment here because there's thousands, but we don't really have to go through that many of them to see the crazy posting. So look at this, comment after comment after comment. Katie also wrote, also, one more question. Didn't you accuse John of being a violent abuser in 2020 and tried to defend Colin? Now it's Colin that is the abuser? Okay. So scrolling through. So Katie then writes, this is strange, but a court-appointed therapist diagnosed Colin with chronic PTSD and trauma from years of psychological abuse by his mother. Kate, sources claim, branded Colin a bad child in need of punishment, and the boy felt he was seen as not deserving of the same affection his siblings would receive because he was still talking to his father, John. It is understood that traumatologists. It's understood that the traumatologist conducted a number of psychological tests on Colin and diagnosed him with chronic PTSD brought about by trauma. According to the sources in her report, the therapist documents Colin's statements that as he grew older, his experiences with his mother were based on fear. Okay, I'm not reading all this shit. I don't want to keep reiterating his experience and putting it out there without some sort of inclination that he's okay with it. And right now, from what I'm gathering, he's in basic training or whatever it's called for the Marines. So he won't be giving any kind of information regarding that for anytime soon, I don't think, but we'll see. Look, another comment. I have a question for a friend since we're checking in people with violent and unpredictable behavior. Can we get you admitted into a psychiatric ward, Kate? She's asking Kate that. Pretty much anywhere where you've seen Kate comment on a comment or whatever, or reply or whatever, you see Katie Joy following suit. No, I don't doubt that Katie Joy means much of what she says regarding Kate plus my 8. Like, I have no doubt that Katie Joy believes that she is this horrible person and she did X, Y, and Z. And for all I know, she's right. That's not the point. But how professional is it to stalk someone virtually? Because this is stalking. It's one thing if you're watching their public content on their public platforms that they put out publicly. It's another thing when you go into other people's comments to harass someone, to just keep commenting on their shit and whatever. And that's kind of what she's doing. So, I mean, what's her end goal here? Like, what's the point of her doing this? What is she trying to accomplish? Another lawsuit? I mean, because I don't know what else it could be, really. All right, let me check chat here for a minute. I have no idea if Critical K is in Hawaii. I know she was in Hawaii for one of her court appearances. It was like 2 years ago or something like that, or a year ago or some shit. She couldn't attend the court hearing because she was in Hawaii, but then she also said that she couldn't attend any court hearings because it just wasn't financially feasible for her to do so. No, I don't care how much or how little money you have. If you want to go on vacation, you can swing it. Go for it. Fucking yeah, you do you. So I'm not judging her for that or whatever. Just it doesn't really look very trustworthy or credible when you sit there and tell the court that you can't afford to fly to. I don't even know wasn't this Alabama or some shit? It was a southern state, I think. That you can't afford to fly there from Michigan, but you can go hang out in Hawaii for a week or two. You know, it's not a good look. Hey, Rhonda. Oh yeah, guys, I don't even care about the Facebook shit. You join if you want, don't join if you want. I don't really care. I mean, I don't know. I've been added as a moderator again to one or two groups or something. I'm not even sure what people landed on or whatever, finalized everything on which group or whatever. All I'm gonna say is I have no ill will, no hard feelings, no animosity or whatever between myself and Charlotte, at least not from my point of view. I'm not gonna sit here and talk shit about her or whatever. Um, I hope that whatever's going on with her, I hope that, she has all the help and support that she may or may not need. I'm not making any judgments on that either. Just should she need it, I hope she has it. But I just, I don't, this is, see, I can deal with drama. Like, obviously, I have a commentary channel basically on YouTube. Of course, I don't mind drama. But there's drama and then there's just fucking chaos. And this is more like chaos, and I can't deal with chaos. So I'm good over here for now. All right, so I also heard Heels in the Air did another stream where she tripled down on pretty much everything. Again, I want to say I'm not calling for the women's cancellation. I don't really care. But I do think, though, that it takes balls to try to turn this all around and point the finger at everyone else and present yourself as some sort of victim here for having been doxxed. I'm going to call bullshit on that, because she put her name out there. I'm not recently, years ago, with the blog, in association with at least one of the blogs. I'm pretty sure she had put her name out there. Maybe not loudly or whatever, but it happened. So there was a trail. And again, I'm going to say this because I hear a lot of people saying how if you want to remain anonymous, you have that right. No, you don't. Now, and I'm not talking about viewers or people in chat or comments. I'm not talking about that. Okay. I'm talking about people who have a platform, people who have like good amount of ears listening in the audience, people whose attention, people who are holding other people's attention and on a very public scale like this. When you have that, for you to think that you can then go out publicly and talk very poorly about other people and sometimes even accuse them of crimes and shit, or accuse them of, lying about being victims in some regard, whether it's because their loved one was victim of a crime or they themselves. When you want to do that and you want to go public and you want to accuse them of this shit, and then you just want to sit there and say, oh no, you don't have, I have every right to say these things, to come at these people in this manner, and do so without you having any clue as to who I am or what my character is. And I want to point something else here too. Now, I know that in the past it's rumored that Queen Bee had potentially been doxxed. I don't know if the information that was put out there was her real information. I don't care. That's not the point. I just want to point something out, though, because for argument's sake, we'll say that it could have been real. Okay. So that information that was put out was stuff that she did in her real life. Okay. It wasn't anything online or whatever shit she did in her real life. And not many people in the community really gave a shit. And I don't blame them. I don't give a shit either. Okay. That didn't cancel her by any means. So when people try to find information about people, it may not be that they're trying to out you for something you did in your real life, because what good is that going to do? People don't give a shit about that, unless it's specific types of crime. But I mean, for the most part, no one's going to care. However, when you are found out to have this extensive history on social media, this virtual history, and you are yeah, you're doing a hell of a lot of racist shit or whatever on social media, virtually. That's what people are going to care about because this is virtual land. Okay. We are all here virtually. We're here as for maybe as an escape from our real lives, or maybe just because we enjoy the internet, whatever, no, any number of reasons. But this isn't our real world life. It isn't. It can be an extension of it, maybe really, but the it's not the main focus of it. It's not the big important part of it. So I don't think people are really going to care about a lot of shit in your personal life. And the whole thing with knowing your name is just for identity bridging for the activity online, really, because oftentimes people do shit online and they make accounts and they're all usually tied to like just maybe a few emails or whatever. So if you can connect the emails back to just the person's real name, well then there you bridge that identity between the actual person and the fucked up shit that they were doing online, and then you can establish a pattern or whatever. That's what people, and right or wrong, you can think that it's wrong for people to want to know this or whatever, and I'm not even going to argue there, whatever. But right or wrong, that's what people are caring about when it comes to knowing things about other people online. They don't care to know that you once sold some drugs somewhere, or that you once broke into a car or stole a car, even. Nobody really cares about that, I don't think. They may try to use that as some sort of weapon to use against you to just try to fuck with you, but no one's getting canceled over this shit. Really? They're not. So, all right. I think I babbled on for a little bit long enough. Huh? Aaron's showing up. What do you mean, LR? You don't see me? What do you mean you don't see me? I see me. Oops. I take it I'm showing up then, right? I hope. Okay, so your page is frozen. Okay, good. It's like, damn, I just did a hell of a lot of talking there. Please don't tell me that didn't fucking register. That would suck. Okay, so that being said, I'm not going to stream for too long either tonight. I'm kind of tired. My daughter was supposed to come out and join me, but I'm thinking she might have fell asleep or something. Where did it go? All right, so the recent stream Heels had used is called Retrospect. Oh, there is a live chat. Wait, no, there isn't. Is there? I see the chat box, but I don't know if it. I don't think that there's. I don't think she turned it on or something. Huh. Comments are turned off. Yeah, so there might have been chat, but maybe no, because then it would just say that the replay's not available. It looks like there's chat replay, but it looks like she didn't allow anyone to comment or something. I don't know. All right, so I'm not sharing screen. Wait, I'm not sharing. So like I said, this is her recent one is from 7 hours ago. Oh, and she says the description box here, it's definitely worth a read. She says, I do have more to say about what went on last week, and then I will be done with it. I was told to go and read my blog. I opened it for everyone else and didn't go back myself. Other people did it for me. I'm sickened by one of the things found, and I want to explain other things and to assure you that on those other things, I have 100% changed. I'm just curious how it was up to anyone here to demand I acknowledge being doxxed. I get what she's saying there. She's saying that people were demanding she be held accountable or she, explain herself or whatever. But in order for her to do that, she would have to admit that this was in fact all her, which means she would admit to being doxxed and this doxing the doxed information being correct. That's what she's trying to say. However, nobody's asking you to do anything because of a dox. People feel gypped, people feel lied to, fooled, whatever. And they want to know that maybe that wasn't the case, I think preferably. But if it was the case or were the case, I think that they just want to know that it's not something to expect in the future because the person who did this would have learned their lesson maybe. That's what I think it's all about. I still choose for my name to be anonymous. So please stop doxing me before I take steps to make you stop. You got what you wanted, but you don't get to tell me what to do on my channel or which name to use. I agree with that. Yes, it's your channel. You can do whatever the hell you want with it, and you can call it whatever you want. I'm wondering if I should dig into everyone's past now to make sure these streets are safe. As I'm sure you all know by now, I am good at research. That sounds like a threat. Maybe not a threat for actual physical harm or whatever, but that still sounds like a threat. As far as Sean King and the tree cases, I don't know what that means. I've not changed my mind about the evidence I gathered. You gathered? Were you part of an investigatory body looking into these people or something? I mean, you're no different than any of your viewers, really. No different than me or anyone else here on YouTube. You just look shit up online. And the outcome. I would definitely have chosen my words differently, stepping back 10 years later. Whatever, man. Whatever.
But I know it's him because there's something he doesn't know he believes. And not one of them called me a racist. Not one of them. I knew he had the blog. I knew he could see into it. I think that's when I actually put it on private, was when he started his crap and he was sending it to people. And like I knew what happened in the last 3 days, and I can show you to prove it to you that the blogs are being taken down. I worked on this thing for like 3 years and like blood, sweat, and tears. And there's way more on that blog. There's the Bonita Papers, which was a big undertaking. I don't know what else. There's just a lot. So I renew it and I just did it not long ago. I think it comes up in June. Yeah, I pay to renew it every year. That people find it racist as a whole. And that's what I kept asking the other night, what is it that you find racist? Well, you went after kids. Okay, I don't find it racist, but I did.
No one said that.
I did those cases, and
no one said that they found you to be racist because you went after kids. I mean, I heard what I heard is that people found it to be racist because of all the overwhelming amount of disparaging content directed at and about people of color. But when it came to Caucasians, I mean, that wasn't the case. So, and now maybe if she were of that community or whatever, and she were familiar with all these people involved, and she grew up with them or something, then maybe she might have some sort of place to speak from or whatever, but that's not the case. So it looks targeted because there's no other rhyme or reason to it, really, So that's what people were bitching about.
stand by what I said about those cases because most of it was an opinion. Now, I did find there was one, I think, burnt toast. We're going to go over it. There was one she found and she was reading out as if it were my words. And then a little portion she said, oh, she's quoting something. No, that whole first part of it was a quote. And then what I said. I do 100% see how that would look racist because it would look racist to me. Standing here today, looking at that, it would look racist to me. Period. So, I don't know if I just talked about it. So my friendship with Black Butterfly Zena started in about 2015, I think. And we had been going back and forth and warring because she thought Trayvon Martin was murdered and I didn't. And then it went on to I don't know that we talked that much about Michael Brown. Then it started back up again with Kendrick Johnson. And she likes Trump. Well, at some point, we had a mutual enemy, and we have mutual friends, but this mutual enemy that we started talking. And then we became friends.
So, all right, I want to address a comment here. Elizabeth asks, can KJ and Heels in the Air get fined for all these things that they say and do, all this crappy stuff, saying that YouTube doesn't do anything to them? No, they can't. I don't see how they can. Now, because freedom of speech is still a thing, you know? And it should be. It needs to be. But, like, there's already, like, there's things in place for people to act or just, you know, try to hold them accountable. I'm using them as an example, but this could apply to anyone really. But there's already steps in place for people to hold others accountable for the things they say and do publicly regarding the other person. You know, I mean, we're seeing it play out now with 7M. We saw it play out with Tiny Westbrook. You know, I mean, there's civil procedure and stuff that people can use against these people because, I mean, these are civil issues. And then there's some, at times, I imagine that it does kind of venture over into the criminal aspect, in which case then there's criminal court, charges can be pressed or whatever. But it's still kind of limited. Like, people can give their opinions about you. People can say, I think that they're a fucking bitch, or I think that they're a piece of shit, or I think that they're an asshole, or whatever. They can think that about you. They can state that they think that about you. That's not disparaging. What's disparaging, though, is they say, I think that they're an asshole because they did these horrible things I'm about to cite off, but I have no proof of this whatsoever, you know? And especially if I think that the larger the platform in which they make these claims on is, you know, holds a greater possibility to cause even more damages to the person. So, yeah, so I think that there needs to be a platform. There needs to be actual disparaging things said about the person, actual claims as statements of fact. And it has to, I think, be persuasive enough to persuade others and be large enough or on a big enough platform to persuade many of others. But short of that, there's nothing people can do. I mean, who's going to fine them? There's no fines for this. The only fines that you could possibly get is like a ruling or whatever, or is a settlement. But I mean, these aren't fines like issued by some like a regulatory body, people or whatever, or by YouTube. YouTube could probably try to enact their own rules or guidelines, whatever. But I mean, I think that would be questionable too. But that's the only other thing I can think of. Again, though, I'm no fucking law expert. Like, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Yeah, because with the drama that I've been seeing with the whole Facebook group too, one comment that was stated of regarding this kind of stood out to me, and it was a comment of that someone was going to be contacting a lawyer who's going to be subpoenaing Facebook for IP addresses or whatever. That's not going to happen. Okay. Especially not over like just people, not over this anyway. And okay. Yeah, that information isn't going to just be handed out simply because a lawyer requests it. You know, I think there has to be an actual court case going on or a criminal investigation, one or the other. And what exactly are we talking about too with IP addresses, for example? Are we talking the public IP or the private IP? Because it's almost always the public IP. That's not definitive enough, I don't think. It's enough for like reasonable, I don't know, sir, I don't know. I think it's enough to maybe like contribute to other circumstantial evidence to reach a conclusion. But in and of itself, by itself, it's not enough. Because I mean, like my IP address, I think it shows up as Deerfield, New York. I don't even live in Deerfield, so it's not definitive. I mean, it's Deerfield's in the area, but it's not where I live. So she had no live chat. All right, yeah. Aaron, I really think the entire community needs to get some rest and some chocolate. Yeah, probably. I mean, really think about it. When is it ever a bad idea to get rest and chocolate? Like, it's never a bad idea. But I know I'm going to be getting some rest soon because I have plans tomorrow. I'm going to be driving out to Lockport. I think we're going to go to Lockport anyways. But yeah, so it's my son and I are going on a little canal venture. We'll go see the 5 lock steps there on the original Erie Canal. Mm-hmm. I think. I don't know. Either that, we're going to go up by Canada for something. So we'll see. Oh, one other thing too. Like this was the craziest shit that I ever heard. Let me pull it up. All right. I'm not going to share the picture. It's from the same stream I was just playing, but I'm going to share the sound. So I think. Can I do that? I'll do that for now. All right. All right, so let me play the sound. It's only like a minute or so, but it's from about the 1 hour, 15-minute section of her stream. Oh, come on. All right.
He just said it on her panel. She was like, "Oh, I'm in hospice."
There we go. Who the fuck do you think you are? Just who the actual fuck do you think you are? Are you a mandated reporter? Not mandated reporter. What is it? Are you you have to follow HIPAA? Are you in any kind of medical field or anything that you shouldn't tell people personal medical business? Burnt toast, you idiot. And you, I don't even have a word for what you did right there. I still don't have a word for it.
Okay.
All I know is
that's not how HIPAA works, though. I mean, like, she didn't treat you. She wasn't even working at a place that might have treated you or anything. She had no access or privy to any of your medical information whatsoever. So HIPAA wouldn't apply to her. Even if she were a nurse, if she had not treated you and she had not interacted with you in any kind of professional manner and had no access to any of your healthcare information, even if she were a nurse, though, still, it would not apply. The HIPAA applies when there's potential for the provider or the professional to cause you harm by their privileged information, basically. That wouldn't apply here. And it, like, you can be fired and still be held by the guidelines too, or whatever of HIPAA. You can even be like treating someone as a volunteer status and still be bound by HIPAA. you can lose your license and still be bound by HIPAA, you know? But you have to have access. You have to have been serving in that role to the patient in some regard. Someone talking about you on YouTube is not, it does not qualify for HIPAA like protections. I don't know. That just, it struck me as very odd. That was like a very weird argument to make, I think, right? Let me get back here. All right. So we're at 46 minutes. I was going to go for close to an hour, up to an hour. So I think I'm going to wrap this up and get some sleep. Where are we at? Okay. I'm going to venture on a not second day. But they lie and besmirch. Just simply lying, though, I don't think is enough. I think you have to cause damages or actually accuse someone of like crimes and shit. I'm not quite sure on the whole qualifications for defamation per se, but other than that, you have to have damages caused. Like people have said to me quite a few times over the years, like why, especially when Todd Chrisley was like talking about class action suit or whatever, people had suggested me, you should contact his attorney, yada yada. I'm like, why? I'm not. There's no. Why would I? I'd probably never sue her or anyone for that matter. Really, I mean, I don't feel like I'm out any damages, whatever. No, my life hasn't been harmed in any way, or my reputation, or my standing in my community, whatever. I've had no damages as a result of Katie Joy or whomever. So no, like it amazes me though too how like. I don't know. I feel like people shouldn't be so willing and eager to end up in a courtroom. Like ever. Like even if it's not criminal, you don't know that it won't stay that way. I don't know. I feel like that's just the damage would have to be pretty great for me to go through that shit. So, and it's not. It's nowhere near. Not at all. Doesn't seem fair. They say all these terrible things, hurt people and families, and get away with it. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but life's not fair. I get what you're saying, and you're right. It's not fair, But I mean, life doesn't have to be fair. You don't have the right to a fair life. None of us do. So, I mean, I think it's well within everyone's rights here to ask that people consider holding someone else accountable in like the court of public opinion. I mean, why not? But outside of that, I don't see really what anyone can do. I don't know. I don't know if Heels is in hospice. Honestly, I don't really need to know. I don't care to know. I hope she's not. I really hope she's not. But if she is, I hope that it's meeting all of her needs for whatever it is she may need it for. But that's all I'm going to say on that, really. I mean, it's her business, I guess. Mean people suck, but nice people swallow. See, I duck. I don't know. I'm not playing that game. I'll just duck. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. My daughter apparently didn't want to join me. Maybe she fell asleep. So yeah, I'll be around tomorrow night sometime. I don't know when, but no, I'm not going to delete. It's fine. If people are that easily offended, then my channel's the least of their problems if they're on YouTube. I'm not even worried about it. You're fine. You're good. So, all right, guys, I'll see you around tomorrow. And I'll post pictures too from tomorrow. Mm-hmm. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining me.